Episode 1, Power Politics: The Operating System of Political Reality. Welcome to Power Politics, a lecture series based on Robert Michels' landmark work, Political Parties. I'm your host, and over 11 episodes we will examine how power actually operates, not as politicians describe it, but as social science reveals it. Today, Episode 1, The Operating System of Political Reality. Before we can understand why democracies produce oligarchs, why revolutions repeat old patterns, or why even the most idealistic organizations eventually betray their ideals, we need to understand the underlying system, the invisible architecture that governs all political life. Think of it as the operating system running beneath every government, party, movement, and institution. You don't see it directly, but everything runs on top of it. Power politics is not about individual villains or heroes. It is about structural forces, ideology, legitimacy, and institutions that shape who holds power, how they hold it, and what happens when that hold breaks. Robert Michels called this the Iron Law of Oligarchy. Give any organization enough time, and its leadership will consolidate, insulate, and self-perpetuate. Today we build the foundation for understanding why. Institutions can either reinforce or challenge prevailing ideological norms, thereby influencing the exercise of power. For instance, a democratic institution like a parliament may be designed to promote transparency and accountability, which in turn limits the abuse of power by elected officials. This design has a significant impact on how power is exercised. Conversely, an authoritarian institution like a one-party state may be structured to concentrate power in the hands of a few individuals or a single leader, thereby legitimizing their rule. The interplay between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions is further complicated by social norms and values. These unwritten rules shape our understanding of acceptable behavior and influence how we exercise power. Moreover, they can also shape institutional operations and prevailing ideologies. For example, a society that values equality may be more likely to challenge concentrations of wealth and power, while one that values individualism may be more accepting of economic inequality. The operating system of power politics is characterized by path dependence, where choices made at one point in time have lasting effects on future outcomes. In other words, the trajectory of power dynamics can be shaped by earlier decisions and actions. For instance, a country's historical experience with colonialism or authoritarian rule may influence its political culture and shape how power is exercised today. The operating system of power politics is dynamic and subject to change over time. This is evident in the way that ideological currents shift, institutions evolve, and social norms adapt to new circumstances. As these changes occur, the interplay between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions is constantly negotiated and redefined as actors seek to exercise power and achieve their goals. In this sense, understanding the operating system of power politics is crucial for navigating political reality. By recognizing how ideology, legitimacy, and institutions interact and shape one another, we can better appreciate how power is exercised and resisted. This knowledge informs our analysis of political phenomena, from the rise and fall of empires to struggles for social justice and human rights. As we delve deeper into the operating system of power politics, it's essential to acknowledge that this interplay between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions is constantly being negotiated and redefined as actors seek to exercise power and achieve their goals. This dynamic process is what makes power politics so fascinating, the constant flux and evolution of relationships, interests, and values. One of the most significant implications of this operating system is its ability to shape our understanding of political change. When analyzing moments of revolution or regime transition, it's crucial to consider how ideology, legitimacy, and institutions intersect to create new power structures or reinforce existing ones, as these intersections can have far-reaching consequences. For instance, during the Arab Spring, protesters drew upon a mix of ideological frameworks, from liberal democracy to Islamic fundamentalism, to challenge authoritarian regimes and demand greater political participation. The subsequent outcomes were shaped by the complex interplay between these ideologies, the legitimacy of the old regimes, and the institutional arrangements governing the transition process. Moreover, this operating system has significant implications for our understanding of power relations within institutions themselves. When examining the inner workings of governments, corporations, or social movements, it's essential to recognize how ideology, legitimacy, and institutions intersect to shape decision-making processes and allocate resources, which can have a profound impact on their overall functioning. For instance, in a government, ideological leanings can influence policy priorities, while institutional arrangements dictate the allocation of funds and personnel. Similarly, within a corporation, an organization's ideology shapes its values and mission, while its institutional structure determines how power is distributed among executives and stakeholders. By recognizing the intricate relationships between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions, we can develop a more nuanced understanding of power politics and its role in shaping our world. This operating system provides a framework for analyzing the complex interplay between ideas, norms, and interests that underpin political reality, which can help us better comprehend the dynamics at play. As we continue to explore this concept, we'll delve deeper into the ways in which power is exercised and resisted, and how these dynamics shape our understanding of politics, policy, and society as a whole. As we delve deeper into the operating system of power politics, it's essential to recognize that institutions play a critical role in shaping the rules of the game. Institutions can either reinforce or challenge prevailing ideological norms, influencing the distribution of power among executives and stakeholders. For instance, a government institution may establish policies that favor certain groups over others, solidifying their position within the power structure. Conversely, an independent judiciary can serve as a check on executive power, ensuring that decisions are made in accordance with established laws and norms. This interplay between institutions and ideology highlights the importance of understanding how rules and norms shape our understanding of power politics. Institutions can either amplify or mute ideological messages, influencing the legitimacy of actors' actions. For example, a government institution may use its authority to promote an ideological narrative that justifies its policies, while an independent media outlet may challenge those narratives by presenting alternative perspectives. Moreover, this interplay underscores the significance of considering not only internal dynamics within institutions and actors but also external factors that shape their actions. This includes broader social, economic, and cultural contexts in which they operate. By recognizing these multiple levels of analysis, we can develop a more comprehensive understanding of power politics and its role in shaping our world. As we continue to explore this concept, it's essential to examine how power is exercised and resisted within different institutional settings. We will analyze the ways in which actors use various strategies and tactics to advance their interests, from persuasion and manipulation to coercion and resistance. Furthermore, we must consider the role of institutions in shaping these dynamics and the impact that external factors have on the distribution of power. Ultimately, the operating system of power politics provides a framework for understanding the complex interplay between ideas, norms, and interests that underpin political reality. By recognizing the intricate relationships between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions, we can develop a more nuanced appreciation of how power is exercised and resisted within different contexts. As we continue to explore this concept, we will uncover new insights into the nature of power politics and its role in shaping our understanding of politics, policy, and society as a whole. As we delve deeper into the operating system of power politics, it's essential to consider how institutions shape the rules of the game and influence the distribution of power. Institutions can either reinforce dominant ideologies or provide spaces for alternative perspectives to emerge, thereby shaping the dynamics of power. For instance, a democratic institution may prioritize transparency and accountability, allowing citizens to hold their representatives accountable and challenge the status quo, which in turn can lead to more inclusive decision-making processes. Conversely, an authoritarian institution might prioritize secrecy and control, enabling those in power to maintain their grip on authority. The interplay between institutions and ideology can also lead to the emergence of new ideas or the reinforcement of existing ones, often resulting in a complex interdependence between the two. As actors navigate the institutional framework, they must balance their own interests with prevailing ideological norms, which can sometimes lead to the co-optation of new ideas by dominant ideologies or the marginalization of alternative perspectives. Moreover, institutions can serve as a catalyst for change, providing a platform for marginalized voices to be heard and alternative solutions to be proposed. This dynamic interplay between institutions and ideology highlights the importance of context in shaping our understanding of power dynamics. The same institution or ideological framework may have different effects depending on specific historical, cultural, or social contexts. For instance, the rise of social media has transformed the way people engage with political information and mobilize around causes, but its impact varies significantly across countries and communities, underscoring the need to consider contextual factors in our analysis. As we continue to explore this operating system, it's crucial to recognize that power is not solely a zero-sum game where one actor's gain is another's loss, but rather can be exercised through various means, including coercion, manipulation, persuasion, and cooperation. The interplay between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions provides a framework for understanding these complex dynamics and the ways in which actors navigate them to achieve their goals. Ultimately, this operating system offers a powerful tool for analyzing the intricate relationships between ideas, norms, and interests that underpin political reality. By recognizing the dynamic interplay between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions, we can develop a more nuanced appreciation of power politics and its role in shaping our understanding of politics, policy, and society as a whole. As we delve deeper into this operating system, it's crucial to recognize that power is not solely possessed by individuals or groups but instead is distributed across various levels and spheres of influence. This concept of polycentric power highlights the complex interdependencies between different actors, institutions, and ideologies. Moreover, when considering the role of ideology in shaping our understanding of power, we must acknowledge its presence at multiple levels, from individual to international. At the individual level, ideology can serve as a personal framework for making sense of the world and one's place within it. This ideological lens influences an individual's values, beliefs, and actions, which shape their interactions with others. Furthermore, this personal ideology is often reflected in the norms and values that underpin social and political structures at the institutional level. As we move up the scale, ideology becomes increasingly institutionalized, influencing the norms and values that underpin social and political structures. At the international level, ideology can take on a more pronounced role in shaping global dynamics. The spread of ideologies across borders has been a hallmark of modern history, with ideas like liberalism, communism, and fascism having far-reaching impacts on politics, economies, and societies worldwide. The interplay between these different levels of ideological influence is crucial for understanding power dynamics. When an individual's ideology aligns with that of a particular institution or social group, it can create a powerful synergy that amplifies their influence. Conversely, when there are significant discrepancies between individual and institutional ideologies, it can lead to conflict and resistance. Moreover, this interplay highlights the importance of context in shaping our understanding of power and its effects. The same ideological framework can have vastly different implications depending on the specific historical, cultural, or social context in which it is applied. Recognizing this contextual dependence is essential for developing a nuanced appreciation of power politics and its role in shaping our world. This operating system also emphasizes the significance of context in shaping our understanding of power and its effects. Ultimately, this operating system offers a powerful tool for analyzing the intricate relationships between ideas, norms, and interests that underpin political reality. By recognizing the dynamic interplay between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions, we can develop a more nuanced appreciation of power politics and its role in shaping our understanding of politics, policy, and society as a whole. As we delve deeper into the operating system of power politics, it's essential to consider how these concepts intersect with one another. The complex interplay between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions is a dynamic that can have far-reaching consequences for political actors and the societies they shape. Take, for example, the role of institutions in shaping our understanding of what constitutes legitimate authority. This highlights the intricate relationships between these factors. In some cases, institutions may be designed to reinforce existing power structures, while in others, they may be created to challenge them. The interplay between ideology and legitimacy is particularly noteworthy here, as it underscores the significance of institutional legitimacy in shaping our understanding of power. When institutions are seen as legitimate by a majority of people, they can exert significant influence over the exercise of power. Conversely, when institutions are viewed as illegitimate, they may face resistance or even collapse. This dynamic highlights the importance of considering the cultural and social context in which institutions operate. In addition to these institutional factors, we must also consider the role of power brokers, individuals or groups that wield significant influence over the exercise of power. These actors often possess a deep understanding of the operating system, allowing them to navigate its complexities with ease. They may use their knowledge to manipulate ideological narratives, shape public opinion, and influence policy outcomes. The interplay between these factors is further complicated by external factors, such as economic trends, technological advancements, or global events that can disrupt the status quo and create new opportunities for power brokers to exert influence. In this sense, the operating system of power politics is constantly evolving, with actors adapting to changing circumstances in an effort to maintain their position or gain an advantage. This evolution underscores the need for a nuanced understanding of these dynamics. Ultimately, recognizing the intricate relationships between ideology, legitimacy, institutions, and power brokers is crucial for developing a nuanced understanding of power politics. By acknowledging these complexities, we can begin to unravel the operating system that underpins our political reality, and perhaps even find ways to challenge its dominant narratives and shape a more just and equitable world. As we delve deeper into the dynamics of power politics, it's essential to recognize that this complex interplay between ideology, legitimacy, institutions, and power brokers is not static. Rather, it's constantly evolving, with actors adapting to changing circumstances in an effort to maintain their position or gain an advantage. This dynamic nature of power politics means that our understanding of the operating system must also be flexible and responsive to shifting contexts. One way to think about this evolution is through the concept of path dependence. Path dependence suggests that the choices we make today are influenced by the decisions made in the past, which in turn shape the options available to us moving forward. This concept is particularly relevant in the context of power politics, where ideological narratives and institutional frameworks can have lasting effects on the trajectory of political development. For instance, consider the rise of neoliberalism in the latter half of the 20th century. This ideological shift had significant consequences for global economic policy, shaping government approaches to issues like trade, taxation, and regulation. The institutional frameworks that emerged during this period, think free trade agreements, deregulation, and privatization, have had lasting effects on the global economy. However, path dependence also implies that these choices are not irreversible. As new actors emerge or existing ones adapt to changing circumstances, they can challenge prevailing ideological narratives and institutional frameworks. This is where power brokers come into play. Power brokers are individuals or groups who possess the capacity to shape the operating system of power politics by manipulating the interplay between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions. In this sense, recognizing the intricate relationships between these factors is essential for developing a nuanced understanding of power politics. By acknowledging the complexities and dynamics at play, we can begin to unravel the operating system that underpins our political reality, and perhaps even find ways to challenge its dominant narratives and shape a more just and equitable world. As we delve deeper into the operating system of power politics, it becomes increasingly clear that the interplay between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions is a dynamic process that constantly evolves. Power brokers, those individuals or groups with the capacity to shape the operating system, are key players in this ongoing dance. They can manipulate relationships between these factors, using their influence to shape narratives, legitimize certain actions, and create institutions that serve their interests. One of the most significant ways power brokers operate is by creating and manipulating narratives that justify their actions. This involves framing issues in a particular way, emphasizing certain values or principles, and downplaying others. For instance, a government might frame its economic policies as necessary to stimulate growth and create jobs, while ignoring negative impacts on marginalized communities. By controlling the narrative, power brokers shape public opinion and legitimize their actions, making it more difficult for others to challenge them, a crucial aspect of their influence. In addition to shaping narratives, power brokers also play a crucial role in legitimizing certain institutions or actors within those institutions. This involves using their influence to create rules, norms, and procedures that favor certain groups or individuals over others. For instance, a powerful corporation might use its influence to shape regulatory policies that benefit its interests, while harming the environment or workers. By legitimizing these institutions and actors, power brokers maintain the status quo and resist challenges from others, a key mechanism of their power. The ability of power brokers to manipulate the operating system is not limited to their control over narratives and institutions. They also possess the capacity to shape reality itself. This can involve using their influence to create new social norms, values, and cultural practices that reinforce their power and legitimize their actions. For example, a government might use its influence to promote a particular ideology or set of values, such as patriotism or nationalism, which can be used to justify its actions and legitimize its authority, further solidifying their grip on the system. Ultimately, the operating system of power politics is characterized by a constant struggle for control over factors that shape our political reality. Power brokers seek to shape narratives, legitimize actions, and create institutions that serve their interests. This ongoing battle for influence and control drives the dynamics of power politics, profoundly shaping our political reality. This perpetual struggle for control is where the rubber meets the road. The operating system of power politics is dynamic, constantly evolving and adapting to changing circumstances. Power brokers must continually update ideological narratives, legitimize actions through institutions and norms, and navigate shifting landscapes of interests and alliances. Moreover, this constant flux means that even seemingly stable systems can be upended by sudden shifts in the balance of power. In this sense, power politics can be seen as a form of ideological jiu-jitsu, where actors use opponents' own ideologies against them or co-opt emerging trends to further their agendas. This constant flux also requires power brokers to continually update strategies and tactics to maintain control. As such, even seemingly stable systems can be upended by sudden shifts in the balance of power. Moreover, this operating system is not limited to traditional politics but rather permeates all aspects of social life. From corporate boardrooms to community organizations, the struggle for control over ideology, legitimacy, and institutions is a ubiquitous feature of our political reality. It is essential that we develop a nuanced understanding of power politics as an operating system that shapes not just our political landscape but also our way of life. The intricate dance between ideology, legitimacy, and institutions can be seen in how power is exercised within organizations, communities, and societies at large. For instance, a corporation may use its ideological narrative to justify business practices, while community groups may employ similar tactics to mobilize support for their causes. In both cases, the struggle for control over these three elements serves as a means of legitimizing actions and maintaining power. This operating system permeates all aspects of social life, influencing our perceptions of reality, shaping values and norms, and informing decision-making processes.